Hello everyone and welcome to the unveiling of the Peewee AA and Bantam AA region brackets for the Minnesota Hockey region tournaments coming up this weekend. My name is Glenn Andreessen, the Executive Director of Minnesota Hockey, and to my left is Nick Nyhus, the Tournament Committee Chair for Minnesota Hockey. Nick, if you would you share a little bit of information about how these rankings were formulated earlier today?
Great, thanks Glenn. So earlier today we had coaches that were nominated by their district directors from the East, West, and South regions that got together and ranked the teams 1 through 24. Those teams were then seeded into brackets. One thing to keep in mind is the Northern region has play-in games, so they were not part of this official process.
Thanks very much, Nick. Now let's take a look at the region brackets for Peewee AA and Bantam AA. We'll start off with the Peewee AA North region in Brainerd. The first game will feature Grand Rapids against Duluth East. Moorhead will face Bemidji. Roseau takes on Brainerd. And Cloquet faces Hibbing.
For the Peewee AA East region, in New Prague, it'll be Edina versus Buffalo, Prior Lake versus Elk River, White Bear Lake versus Burnsville, and Chaska Chanhassen takes on Lakeville South.
The Peewee AA West region, taking place in Cottage Grove, Minnesota, features Rosemont against Hastings in the first game. Game 2 will be Stillwater against Bloomington Jefferson. Osseo Maple Grove takes on Eastview, and Wayzata faces Rochester in the last game.
For the Peewee AA South region at St. Cloud, it'll be Minneapolis versus Eagan, Andover versus Eden Prairie, Blaine taking on Minnetonka, and finally St. Cloud versus Woodbury.
Moving on to the Bantam AA North region, taking place in Roseau, Minnesota. Our first matchup features Grand Rapids versus Duluth East. Our second game has Moorhead against Bemidji. Game number 3 is Roseau against Brainerd. And game number 4 features Cloquet and Hermantown.
For Bantam AA East, which will be held in St. Louis Park, it'll be Edina versus Andover. Second game will be White Bear Lake versus Eagan. Wayzata versus St. Louis Park. And finally, St. Michael Albertville versus Eastview.
In the Bantam AA West region at St. Cloud, the first game will feature Minnetonka against Roseville. Rochester will face St. Cloud. Elk River takes on Rosemont. And the final game will be Jefferson against Eden Prairie.
And wrapping up Bantam AA South at Lakeville will be Centennial versus Forest Lake, Osseo Maple Grove versus Lakeville North, Prior Lake taking on Blaine, and finally Sibley versus Minneapolis.
Minnesota Hockey wishes the best of luck to all teams participating in this weekend's region tournaments, and have fun!